Okay, so I'm going to talk tonight a little bit about experiential marketing. So we're sort of going all over the place here for the day. So I am the communications manager at the Delaware River Waterfront Corporation, and I'm also the founder of Philly Love Notes. And through those two jobs, I've done a ton of event planning and going to a lot of events over the last couple of years. And as I've been going to them, I've been thinking about how we are interacting with these organizations who are putting on the events and how the organizations are interacting with us. And so I wanted to start off with a question. I'm going to ask a lot of questions and I'm going to answer none of them at all. But when is the last time that you went to the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts to actually see the art? And I'm not singling out the Academy because I don't like the Academy. I'm actually singling them out because I think they have really fantastic programming. So they do a ton of different types of workshops. They bring in a bunch of different types of collaborative exhibitions. They have great parties. They do a lot of really wonderful things. And I've actually been there 3 times over the last year. I've gone there for a creative communities workshop in the morning. I've gone there for their PAFA After Dark, which is really fun. If you've never been, you should go. I've been there for book signings and book readings, but never once have I actually gone for the art, or at least I've never gone for the art in years. And I was thinking about that as I was there, and I was thinking about how dissociated I was from their product or their brand, which is their art. And it kind of got me thinking about how organizations, nonprofits, institutions need to sort of how they're embracing this idea of experiential marketing, which is where you are advertising to your consumers by letting them experience something. And it's a new way of being a very interactive sort of advertising campaign. And I just wanted to give you some examples. So you can do this through social media campaigns. There's the Association for Public Art did this really great campaign. You took pictures of the love statue, you submitted them. They chose the top 3 who won prizes, and then they created this really great poster, which was distributed for free using all of the photos that have been submitted. This was actually recently just put up by Shepard Fairey up on Frankfurt Ave. It's a little bit of guerrilla marketing on the part of Hennessy, because this is actually Hennessy and Shepard Fairey now have this new collaboration, and this is their signature line that they just started. So this is sort of this bizarro advertisement that we now have for Hennessy on Frankfurt Ave. But mostly I really wanted to concentrate on events. And I, again, single out these organizations because I think that the events that they're putting on are really great and really wonderful and very interesting. So Laurel Hill Cemetery does their fundraiser, which is the Gravedigger Ball. Last week, Hidden City just put together a fundraiser, which was at a roller skating rink up in North Philly. You see parks beginning to program using lots of different types of music. So I work, I was working on Spruce Street Harbor Park this summer, so we did a lot of concerts. Penn Treaty Park has a bunch of concerts. Again, Laurel Hill Cemetery had the Dead Milkmen out there. They also do burlesque shows. And so all of these different types of parks and organizations are really embracing experiential marketing. And I see Terror Behind the Walls at Eastern State Penitentiary as being sort of the really classic example and best example of experiential marketing here in the city. It's a way for people to experience Eastern State Penitentiary in a very interesting and novel way. And I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was just a really cool example. And I kind of wanted to go back to Spruce Street Harbor Park just because this is the experience that I have. So with Harbor Park, minus this absolutely horrible statue, this is our product, right? Our product is the waterfront, and our product is this old sculpture garden. And what we did to try and make it better was to create Spruce Street Harbor Park, which had a bunch of LED lights, a bunch of hammocks, a bar, restaurant, beach, and boardwalk. And really that should have been enough. And for a lot of people that was enough. But because there's this sort of competition in the city and this sort of desire to out-event one another, and we had a lot of competitors in terms of beer gardens, we needed to start thinking of different types of programming. So we programmed the park every night. We had to come up with all these different types of big festivals and big concert series, which I was sort of hesitant about because I wasn't exactly sure whether it is worth it to the producer to put on all of these different types of events. If you have a product or a brand, how do you toe the line between being attractive and engaging, but also sort of diluting your mission and your product? Because people are coming to your event, but they're not actually realizing they're there for a certain mission. And so this summer through Philly Love Notes, I threw a Why I Love Philly party at Spruce Street Harbor Park. It is unbelievably time consuming. It's very stressful. It takes a lot more money than I ever would have expected. We had 900 people. They all had a really good time enjoying the park. But in terms of them having any association with my brand of Philly Love Notes, that sort of wasn't there in the slightest. And then is it worth it for the consumer too? So we're kind of inundated by events right now, and I'm actually going to use Design Philly as an example. There's 120 plus events in 10 days or something like that. And it's great, and it's really awesome that we have so much choice in the city. But at the same time, we're getting a little spoiled. I expect beer, free beer, to be at every event that I go to. Thank you guys very much. And you know, so we're becoming spoiled, and are we sort of also are we setting the bar too high, and are we expecting too much from these different events and these different organizations? And what does this lead to? And that sort of leads to the title of my talk, which is the Events Arms Race. And it's kind of the survival of the fittest. We're now having to out-event each other, and we have to out-event ourselves as well. So when Spruce Street Harbor Park comes back next year, it's going to need to be bigger and better, or people aren't really going to come to it. And you know, is this a bad thing? I'm not really sure. There's certainly some bad aspects of it, because there's smaller nonprofits and institutions that are missing out if they don't have the digital capacity, if they don't have if they're already stretched thin and they don't have the creative capacity to make these really ridiculous events. But at the same time, it creates this incredibly creative field where people are experiencing brands in new and very immersive ways. And by brands, I mean sort of institutions and nonprofits. And so my conclusion is there some way for us to just simply experience Philadelphia? That's it.